Hello, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me. This is another of my pipe smoking videos. As you can see, I am layered up and I've even got a hat on. I don't have central heating in my house. I haven't lit the front, I can't get to the front room stove at the moment. There are boxes of books and boxes of envelopes because I'm still posting out my book, Biggleswick, the town that wouldn't comply. And I'm amazed, funnily enough, I mean, I've been doing this for a few weeks now. I'm amazed how many people have come back to me and said, I've read your book and I loved it, which is really nice. That's very kind of you. I'm going to be smoking whatever this one is. Cool Ray straight pipe. I do like a straight pipe, but excuse me, I've just eaten. So it's probably going to repeat on me, so I apologise for that. And I like Chris Herriot's pipes where he gives it a very slight curve on some of his. And I am smoking, not this, that's in, it's not, this is a Irish mixture. You see that? I don't know, will that do it? Irish mixture? I'm not smoking that. It's just a tin, because as you know, I just don't like the government nonsense. This is Three Noggins. I forget who does it. I think it might be Rattray. That's the only trouble when you decant your tobacco from one tin to another, is if you don't have the information, you often forget who it was. But anyway, I think it's Rattray's. And that's what I'm going to smoke in this one whilst I chat to you. I'm doing this Saturday night. It is a wet, drizzly, cold night. We've had frosts here. I think we've gone down to -1 possibly. Not today, in the last couple of days. I feel I'm a bit low in the... hang on a minute. You know what I'm like. I like to get it right. Is that better? Got to get the 2/3 rule, you know. My eyes should be in the upper third. The old filming thing. Anyway, let's get this going. Still haven't found... Oh, this is very irritating. I still haven't found my brass lighter. My Zippo. Somebody very kindly, very generously, gave me some, dowsing rods. I'll get them in a minute, they're just over there. Let's get this lit. And I like this Three Noggins. I like it because it's not overly flavoured. I quite like that sort of effect. There we go. So, oh yeah, let's get these rods. They were given to me at an event by a couple called Darren and Joe, very lovely people. Sacred Copper Creations, it says here. And if you're interested in seeing their website of all their other Sacred Copper Creations, you can go to sacredcoppercreations.co.uk. When somebody gives you something, I do like to promote it if I can at the appropriate place. There we are, look. Can you see that? Gone. So here they are. These are the rods. And so they're copper rods within a copper tube. And somebody suggested, a friend of mine, up north, he said, why don't you use these divining rods to see if you can find your lighter? Well, both lighters, because I've lost the original pipe lighter that was sent to me from Ireland. Thank you very much. And my brass one. And I said, what a bloody good idea that is. But guess what? I'm using a coach bolt as a tamper because my lovely brass tamper, I realise, is in another jacket somewhere else, and the Heriot Pipes tamper that he gave me, I think is upstairs in the studio. Things, you know, I've been in and out recently. We've been working on our land. You can follow us on The English Couple if you're interested. And so I come in and things just get put down. You know, I'm in and out, shaking it all about at the moment. So not as organised as I was like. We launch ourselves off to where the land is, and we work and we make videos for the English Couple channel, but more importantly we work in order to do whatever it is, that projects that we're on, and we get that done. And I'll come back a bit weary from the driving, because it's not just round the corner, and also the day's work. And of course now it's getting cold, the days are short, we're trying to pack in what we can in the few hours that we have been given. And then unloading the van, loading the van in the morning, unloading it, because I don't like to leave anything valuable like my generator or the power tools and things like that, just in case. So I load them and put them down the side, and in that process, depending on which jacket I'm wearing, things get lost and things, but whatever. And this is a Harris tweed jacket, by the way. I've had this for 15 years and it's very nice. I think when I first got it, I was a bit bigger. I am a lot slimmer now and fitter, I'm pleased to say. Anyway, 3 noggins is what I'm smoking. Lost my coach bolt. So, divining for a lighter. I don't know whether you can sit down and divine. I normally stand up when I try this. By the way, I was chatting to Father John today on the telephone, and we were talking about life, the universe and everything, and pipe smoking, and I said to him, I said, you know, because I've only got one eye, this eye is a falsie. It's a false eye, and I have no peripheral vision on that side. So I very often have the pipe this side. It's a better side for me to clench the pipe, and I can leave it there for some time. It's quite comfortable. This side, whilst it is comfortable, it's right on the edge. There, it's on the edge. There, gone. I can vaguely see it if I really concentrate. And so I don't really see the smoke. And he said, well, you could puff it out the other side. It's, yeah, it's a bit of a mind over matter. I've just got to rub my nose. There we go. So anyway, Father John, I said, look at that. I was never a football fan, but you could imagine that as a clacker, couldn't you? Be careful, it might smack you in the face. All right, I'll be careful. Anyway, so I'm holding these loosely, and I've noticed, I'm rubbish at this, by the way. So if you have it on a slightly downward angle, they don't seem to work as well. If you have them upwards, they do that. I try to get them level, and I watched a video about this, and the guy in the video said, you've got to make an association with your divining rods. So I was saying, hello, divining rod number 1, or on the right, and hello, divining rod on the left. Now I know that sounds like I'm taking the mickey, but I'm not really taking the mickey. I'm trying to tune in. Now, some people say it's, you know, it's a mystical thing. Other people say it's the subconscious. that moves your body, that moves the rods in the right position. I don't know whether it's magic or not magic or human resonance or something, I don't know. Anyway, I can hold it like this, where I'm relaxed and I'm holding it very still. I'm not normally smoking my pipe when I do this. And the first thing you're supposed to do is to say, could you move in a direction that indicates yes, as an answer to a question? Could you move, please, to yes? Please, would you move and show me what the response would be to a question in which the answer is yes? Please, would you show me? Yes. And you go, okay. And I'm holding these very, very loosely. I'm trying not to move them. I'm trying not to do it intentionally. Could you then, if you won't do yes, could you show me no? Could you show me no? Or could you show me anything? Could you show me that there's life in the divine rods? Well, once you've got your association with the divine rods, you're supposed to then ask, is it safe to do any divining now? And now I know that sounds like I've just been taking the mickey a bit. And obviously I'm sitting down, I'm talking to you, I'm smoking a pipe, all these things. I didn't expect it to do anything. But that's all I'm getting. I'm getting no movement whatsoever. So I'm slightly disappointed. And I know another video I watched a different video, and he said, well, don't expect to get results straight away, because like any skill, you need to learn how to do it. You don't expect to drive a car on the first lesson, or the first time you get behind the car. It takes a while to do it. So I've been doing this since, well, last Sunday. Or, yeah, when I was gifted them. You get them to the, a neutral position. Could you please, let me do this without the pipe in my mouth. It may not like smoking, you see. Right, go back to neutral. I'm not moving this, okay? I'm not doing it on purpose. Could you please give me an indication for yes? A position for yes. So this is no reflection on the lovely Darren and Joe. They said, be very, very specific. I mean, they're beautifully made. I just don't seem to be able to connect with them. And I've tried this every day for the last week. And I get nothing, no movement whatsoever. And the idea was to divine around the house to see if I could find, not this one, but my brass one and my pipe smoke, because I thought I could go in and say, is it in this room? Is it this room? Is it upstairs? Is it downstairs? Is it under the sofa? Is it, and try and find something. Because somebody said, yeah, you could use it for that. Not just water divining, but you can find treasures and all sorts of things. And I've seen videos in which people do this. So, I'm obviously not very good at that. Which is a real shame, because I really would like to find that brass Zippo lighter and the gas lighter that I was given. So if anyone's done a bit of divining, you could perhaps tell me. Somebody said to me, just use coat hangers. And yeah, it could do, but it just seems that I'm too good at holding things stationary. I think you need the shakes, really, don't you, to make it cross. Maybe I need a piece of, is it yew tree? Or willow or ash or something? Hazel, is it hazel? Where it goes up and down. Now, I know people who do this, and I trust them when they say it's not made up. They're not doing it deliberately. But I don't know. It's like those people who say, yes, I saw a ghost. And you think, are you just saying that because you want the attention? You know, somebody says, oh, I saw a ghost. I woke up and there was my father at the foot of the stairs. Or I saw someone walk across the room. And when they say that, you kind of go, really? Wow, what were they wearing? What happened to them? Did you speak to them? When you turn to them, you know, what happened? Mostly they say, oh, well, they disappeared. Do you know who it was? And I once went on a ghost hunting thing for a podcast I recorded 20 years ago now. And they were saying, oh, there's spirits in the house. So it was in a pub, and it was late at night. And they said, yes, there's somebody here. And they were saying, yes, he's talking to me. And all the time I just kept thinking, ask him what his name is, ask him when he was born, ask him where the village he was born, ask him if he did anything notable that might be kept on a roll, on a county roll, or a local elite court roll, or whether that was in the courts, you know. Ask them, you know, give us a whole history of background. And they go, oh no, I'm, you know, it's a vague, I'm getting, he was a soldier. A soldier of what? What was the uniform like? Is there any notifying thing? You know, where is he born? Where did he die? Is he buried in a cemetery? Can we go and find the gravestone? I wanted a bit more than just this sort of weird, spooky hearsay stuff. So I think, I don't know. I mean, I think it's very easy, isn't it, to sort of grab attention. Now, I've never seen a ghost, by the way. Not that I knowingly know. I mean, we might see ghosts every day. In amongst the crowds, it may be all of them are ghosts, the people you don't know. And I wrote a children's book called The Ghost Detective. I think you can get it on Amazon, actually. And the premise of this was the ghost detective was searching for ghosts. There's a whole reason for all of this. But anyway, and it being a children's book, he's assigned a young kid who's on work experience, or experience of work, I called it. And the kid says, I've never seen a ghost. And he says, well, you might have done. He says, look at that bus. And the bus goes past. He says, how many of the people on that bus do you know by name? You've spoken to, you know where they live. And he said, well, no, nobody. He said, well, how do you know none of them are ghosts? There might be a handful of people on that bus who are real, and the rest are ghosts. They're not talking to each other. And therefore, how would you know? You know, it may be populated by people who are, in fact, ghosts. So I don't know if I've ever seen a ghost. Maybe I have. But I once had a very strange experience. And I can't really put it down to anything. I was in Norfolk at an Airbnb in a converted barn. And it was a lovely place. And with a friend of mine. And there were two, we had one, it was as I say, converted barn. So there was a room upstairs, nice palatial room, he took that. And there was a smaller room downstairs. And in the morning, after a night, I was lying there thinking, I better get up. And then I felt this pressure as if something had sat on the end of the bed and on my legs. And do you know what went through my head? It was like a cow had sat down. And I sort of, you know, was I daydreaming? I sort of roused myself. I don't know if that's really true. I'm not claiming that it's true. I'm just saying it was a weird experience because I felt that had happened. But it may have been me in a half-sleepy state and made an association, oh, it's an old barn, perhaps it was a cow shed or something. But it did shake me for a while. But it wasn't enough that I would, at parties, say, oh, yes, I saw a ghost, you know. I had a cow sit on me. But it was never enough of that. But I am beginning to think there are mischievous spirits. I don't know how serious I am with this, because I have rifled up and down the house for this lighter and I cannot find it. And I know I had it the day before in the house. I didn't go anywhere else. And so I've asked these mischievous spirits, would you please give it back? And they obviously, I think they will. They're just taking their damn time about it. But anyway, I'd be interested if you've had any experiences with divining. I mentioned this to Julia, of course, and she said I was talking about somehow in the conversation Ouija board came up, and I said, "Oh yes, I dabbled with the Ouija board a couple of times." She said, "Oh, I wouldn't touch that. That does seem like evil." And I said, "Well," I said, "the thing about divining, if it's not your subconscious, your higher self, God, whatever, controlling it, or just natural spasms, if it is some other entity helping you, guardian angel, I don't know, then it's just you and that entity. But with the Ouija board, there's other people who put their finger on the glass and it moves around. Well, you multiply that by how many people are doing it with you. Say there's 2 or 3 others. Well, you don't know then if that movement around is their higher self, their God, their spirit, their strange entity, or a combination. So I said I wouldn't do it again, because you're not really in control, because somebody may be very depressed and down, or for different reasons, health reasons, and they might be there at the table doing it. And that might influence where this thing goes. Some people might just say, well, it's all poppycock anyway. And you could be right. The thing that I know is, the thing that I suppose I know on this spiritual journey that perhaps some of us are on, is that if you take yourself away into a quiet period, like Father John does his meditation and his prayers and things, or if you just take yourself away and you sit and smoke your pipe and you cogitate on what you are and what life is, you sort of realise that there's nothing else. There's only the now. There's only that precise moment that never ends. There's no future, there's no past. And then you get to a point, now, I'm not telling you how to suck eggs, this might have a different revelation to you, that there's only you. There's only this awareness. You strip down your body and your legs and everything else, and your mind and your feelings, and you get behind, you get back to what actually you are, and you realise that's all there is. There's just this eternal now. And some people may say, well, that sounds dreadfully dull and boring. But at the same time, it might sound like that, but and I've had flashes of it that last, a little bit of time, it's very euphoric as well. It's like the most wonderful state to be in. And you think, well, why don't you do it all the time? And then that you realise, well, there's a combination, isn't there? There's this life that we're in, which to me is very illusionary. I don't know that this life that this body is in is really real. But I'm kind of stuck with it for a duration. And then once this all finishes, something else will happen, or nothing. But it will be back to this euphoric I am awareness thing. Anyway, I didn't mean to get onto all of this deep stuff. That was something I talk about occasionally in my other channel. But anyway, these divining rods, if anyone's got any better suggestions I've tried pendulums. I'm not very good with these things. I think perhaps, now this might sound a bit stupid. How many minutes have we got? My mime training, part of my mime training was to be able to stand rigid, stationary, for any length of time, control over the muscles and everything, so that you could be as a statue. For ages. And I would dress up as a statue or a robot. Like that. Well, not like that, better than that. I've lost the, I don't practice it now, obviously. And so I think that that training, being able to hold those things so they do not move, not that I'm trying to stop them moving, I'm trying to be relaxed, but maybe that has made it so that I don't twitch in the way that perhaps somebody who hasn't had that kind of training does. Maybe I'm talking absolute rubbish, I usually am. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Good day to you. I hope you have a wonderful time. I hope you enjoyed your pipe smoking. I hope we've had some sort of cogitation together. Would be nice, wouldn't it? And I will now go and get this uploaded ready so that you can watch it. So until the next one, thank you for watching. Stay warm if you can. My Essie is on in the other room. I would have done it in there, but I've got all my washing draped down, hanging all over the place. And I didn't really want you to be witnessing my crummy old underpants, so, and towels and, you know, all those sort of drapery things. So until next time, take care. And my pipe's gone out now, so that's that. And I will see you next weekend. Till then, goodbye.